I think. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Silverline, Silver Sunday. Tommy is still watching Star Wars, probably. I'm going to mute him for a minute. Today is March the 22nd, 2026, the year of our Lord. Welcome, everyone, and we are excited to have our guest tonight. I am here as usual with, I'm Roland Mann, by the way. I am here as usual with Roberta Conroy, Supreme Colorist. Say hi, Roberta.
Hi, everyone. Yep. Happy to be here.
Tommy has decided to grace us finally. It's tune time with Tommy, Mr. Thomas Formani. Say hi, Tommy.
Hello, Tommy. And I need to change my little thing. That was from last week. Let me change it.
And we are here with the annoyance himself, Mr. Tom Mason.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you.
And, Silver Sunday's covering up your,
Yeah, I'm Mike Double Blue, Silver on Sunday.
Yeah. Let me move that. Hang on. I'll put it over Tom.
Yeah, Mike's got a big...
And of course, we're here with MilitaryGazette.substack.com. That man in the mask guy himself, Mr. Mike W. Belcher. Say hi, Mike.
Hey, everybody.
Anybody, before we introduce our guest, anybody have any news? It's the way it always goes. No one has any news. Okay.
No one has any news. The economy sucks, so nobody has any news.
No, I went bike riding today. I had a good time.
Oh, good for you.
Lots of people out riding bikes and stuff. That was a good day.
Nice. I'm bummed because the softball season is over. So no more softball for me unless I can find a summer league. So I'm bummed. Yeah, but these Yankees like to play when it's really cold. So I want to find a summer league when we can actually get out there and sweat. So
no, that sounds terrible. I don't know what the hell is wrong with you.
So tonight, you guys, I'm excited that Mr. Rob Guillory is joining us tonight. I have talked to I've only met Rob one time, and he probably doesn't even remember it.
I mean, that might be true.
And it was at a little show here in. So Tommy and I both live in Florida now. So it was at a little show here in Florida, and I don't remember which one.
Okay.
When was the last time you were in Florida? Do you remember?
Oh God, I mean, this is probably pre-COVID. I would say.
I would say, yeah, probably pre-COVID.
Maybe 2018-ish.
That sounds about right.
Okay.
Tommy, do you remember? Do you remember him being at the show? Tommy doesn't remember you at the show either. I'm trying to think. I don't remember which show it was. I don't know. I talked to you briefly. Okay. Introduced myself. You were very nice, of course, at the time, and you and I have swapped Facebook messages back and forth a few times. So I'm excited to get you on here. I'm excited about your work, but also one of the things I mentioned just before we came on, I'm excited about the fact that you're from Louisiana. Oh, yeah. And we don't know very many folks from our neck of the woods that gets into comics. And so it's pretty exciting for me. All right, Rob, so say hi to.
I was going to say, growing up, there definitely were not a lot of us. I mean, as far as I could tell, growing up, I was the only one. And now there's like a good handful of guys who are, big two working or image working comic creators today.
In Louisiana.
Yep.
Yeah, that's nice.
What do you think the draw is?
It's very cheap to live here. So you can be a starving artist and not starve here.
Right. So you don't necessarily have to marry a partner with a good job.
Right. Yes, exactly.
But it does help.
It does. Oh my God, that's the secret sauce of comics.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Good insurance.
Yes, that's right. You want good health. You marry someone with good health care and a good paying job.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. So a couple comments coming in here. Standard Person 3801 says, hey, everyone.
I like that name. That's a great name.
What's up,
It
Standard?
is a great name.
Matt Likes Comics says, hey, everybody. He goes, I
Yeah.
ordered 4 books from you today. Woohoo. Thanks,
Woo.
Matt. We'll get those out to you ASAP, I am sure. Pops over at Madness Entertainment Group says, hey, yo, what's up, Pops?
Hey,
Thanks for
yo.
always hanging out with us. And Atris Docs says, hello.
Hey, man.
Whatever that one is.
He was with us last time.
Yeah. So
He's been with us for a while.
yes, he has.
I only recently started to pay attention.
I want to know more about the Standard Person 3801. Write some more, Standard Person 3801.
That is a YouTube account. So Standard Person 3801.
Yeah. It sounds like a name of like you start up a game or whatever, and you just get a generic name when you start the game up. That's what it sounds like.
It's like a science fiction movie when we've all been taken over by robots.
I guarantee you they're here for Rob. So, all right, Rob, this show is all about you, man. We are going to dive down and find out what makes your comic clock tick. And then, of course, you talk to us about what you're doing now and everything. So. Cool. The first question, Rob, is what is the first comic that you remember reading ever as a kid?
Wow. I think when I think back, I keep going back to this memory of when I must have been maybe 3 or 4. There was a Kool-Aid comic. I don't know who bought this for me. It was the entire plot of the thing was there was this little guy, this little elf-looking kind of guy made of fire named the Scorcher. And his entire thing, he was going around making people thirsty. And the only thing that could cure the thirst was Kool-Aid, which makes no sense. That's just not how it is. So the Kool-Aid man showed up, like he burst through the wall, and he teams up with some kids, and they end up getting rid of the Scorcher. That's all that was my first comic.
Wow. Wow.
That may be the best
funny.
first comic story I've heard.
Right?
I was not expecting the answer to be Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid Man.
A lot of my early stuff, honestly, was not. It wasn't Marvel DC stuff. I would come across comics all over the place. Like I grew up in the '80s, so like everything had a comic. Like Radio Shack had comics.
Right.
I remember, Jello had a comic for a second there.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it was the Jello Man. He had a dog. It made no sense. Which I guess in hindsight, I guess it makes sense. I would do Chew eventually because it's like,
The dog.
You're surrounded by comics.
When I thought of comics as being completely ridiculous, you know. So
yeah.
it all made sense, but that was my early stuff.
So David A's Gutierrez says, what's up, David? Thanks for hanging with us, man. He says, was that Kool-Aid Man comic a video game tie-in?
I wish. I would be playing that today.
No, I would too.
Yeah. Matt Likes Comics says, I have all the Radio Shack books and the Jello Man.
The Jello Man.
Wow.
There's our hero right there.
That's an odd collection to have, Matt.
That Kool-Aid Man idea for a video game, I could see that on an Atari box.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have that as a kid.
Me too. I would have crashed him through every wall.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now you're from Louisiana. I don't remember if we said that when we were live. Where in Louisiana did you grow up?
Lafayette, Louisiana.
Which, for those who don't know Louisiana, tell them where that is. Louisiana is shaped like an L. So
it's like slightly south of center. So it's about 2.5 hours from New Orleans.
New Orleans is south of Lafayette.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fun fact: we lived in spelled the exact same way. Oxford, Mississippi is in Lafayette County. Now, when we first moved there, my family, we were all saying Lafayette, and they were going, "No, it's Lafayette." We're like, I don't think so.
Because the general from the American Revolution was Lafayette. Lafayette, we are here.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah.
No one says Lafayette.
Yeah, but it's Oxford, so.
Yeah, but you would think Oxford would be kind of snooty.
Oh, they are.
Maybe they are. It's okay, Lafayette.
Well, that's why it's Lafayette, not Lafayette.
Lafayette.
That's not right.
Yeah.
Double down on it.
Yeah. So what's the population of Lafayette there? Rob, do you know?
I don't know right offhand. It's actually it's a pretty large city. I say it's a pretty major center in Louisiana. I mean, it's become pretty. I mean, for a while there, we were pretty like the Hollywood Center. A lot of stuff filmed here for a while. So I think some of True Detective filmed here the initial season. So pretty big city.
But now, hold on now. If I remember my Louisiana geography, there's no major highway that goes through Lafayette, right? I-10 goes through Shreveport. I'm sorry, through New Orleans. I-20 goes through Shreveport.
No, we have 49 and 10. It crosses. Yep, 49 and 10 both cross right through Lafayette.
Okay, all right. I didn't know.
Yeah, we're good.
I'm gonna have to get rolled a C- in geography.
We cross both of them, so we're pretty major down here.
Okay, all right.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah, all those 18-wheelers going east to west just drive me crazy. Every time I go home, it's just like, where are all these 18-wheelers going? It's just
how old are you? Why don't these people have jobs?
No, they're delivering stuff. I always imagine they're delivering comic books. See, all right. So yes, comic books, deliver comics. All right. So that was 3 or 4. That's pretty young. What was your reading like? Comic book, obviously. What was your comic book reading like after that? And what comic was it that caused you to say, "This right here, this is what I want to do"?
Well, from there, I think I got into I had two uncles that were gigantic comic book geeks. They actually discovered it from their uncle. So my great uncle, who's a Vietnam vet, like he collected in like the 60s. He had tons of old stuff. So he passed it down to them. Whenever I was super little, I would go to their house and they had this giant suitcase in the closet full of old comics. And I mean, before I could even read, there was like Chris Claremont's X-Men with John Byrne.
Nice.
I remember the arcade saga.
Yeah. Nice. Yep.
And then I remember George Perez Teen Titans. I remember Dreadstar, Phoenix Saga. I mean, all that stuff. Yeah. So that stuff. It hooked me. It hooked me really, really early.
Your uncles are the coolest people.
Yeah. They were amazing. They're amazing. Yeah. And what's crazy is they actually lost. I mean, it was a different generation. So my uncle Harold actually had like apparently an even more amazing collection than I ever encountered. Like he had, I think, first appearance Spider-Man, first appearance Captain America, like all that stuff. And my grandmother was pretty hardcore, and he was kind of going down the wrong track in life. So she warned him, and she said, "Hey, if you're not home by this time, I'm going to get rid of your comic book collection." And he didn't believe her. And as he was walking, he was late and he saw this, this is so awful. He saw this pillar of smoke in the distance. Oh no. And he runs up and sure enough, she had torched a giant section of his comic collection. But my grandfather, being the sweetheart that he was, kept a lot of it. He actually kept a good amount. So that was like the Phoenix Saga stuff. He had early Fantastic Four, I think first appearance of Black Panther.
Oh my gosh.
But he lost things that, I mean, to this day, he's in his 60s now. He still talks about it. It's horrible.
That's the worst my mother threw out my comic book collection story I have ever heard.
No kidding. Yeah.
Burned them. Oh my God.
Awful.
Matt Light Comics says no.
It makes my testicles shrink just hearing about it.
Right? This is a comic collection version of FAFO.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, man.
Yeah, you listen to my grandmother. she's not messing around.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I would have to join the military school or something if I did that.
So which comic was it that made you say, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do for my life?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, growing up in Louisiana, pre-internet, I didn't really think of comics as a job. What little I knew of it, I thought, I remember seeing, I think in the back of a Marvel comic, something about like an ad or something about mailing in your sample and maybe getting discovered. So what I knew of comics was they were just some magical people who lived in New York City who like made stuff, but I didn't think of it as like something I could do. So 4th grade when I was 8 or 9, I started making my own. Just stapled some construction paper together and started making my own comics. But I did it just because I loved doing it.
Right.
And I didn't think of it as a real job until college, honestly.
Well, so all right. So what was your because I can and Tommy Mike can relate a little bit because you can't. Yeah.
I don't know what your question is.
I went to school because I was the same way. Growing up in Mississippi, I'm like, how do you? No one makes comic books in Mississippi, right? Mm-hmm. And so I spent the first 2 years in college studying computer science because I thought I had to go get a job. So what was your?
So you didn't.
I had to go get a job.
I thought I had to go get a job. Yeah. I realized what I said after I said it.
I had to go get a job, but I didn't do it. I did something else.
Job.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So all right. So what was your plan? Right. If you weren't thinking of comics as a career, what were you planning on doing? Were you gonna what?
Yeah. Well, I actually applied I was looking all over the place. I think I called the Cooper School at some point in Jersey and got some information. They mailed me a thing. It was super expensive. I was like, I'm not doing that. So I looked at various art institutes, I think in Houston. Yep. I got a little scholarship there, but it was actually my mom. My mom kind of stepped in. I remember we were at the actual art institute thing. And we're talking to the recruiter, and I'm super into it. I have friends that are going to go to it. And I'm thinking, this is absolutely where I want to go. And my mom stood there. Again, I come from a very hardcore, my grandparents, my parents, very hardcore people, very blue collar people, and they don't hide their emotions very well. So my mom is sitting here, the recruiter's here, my mom's sitting next to me. My mom's literally sitting there with her arms crossed, just like unimpressed, completely unimpressed. And the recruiter looks at my mom and says, so you don't think he should come here? And she's like, well, no, he has other passions. He writes. He's not just an artist. He has other passions. I think a university would actually be better than this. So I ended up going to the University of Louisiana in Lafayette, majoring in computer animation initially. And it was, I had no intentions of doing computer animation, honestly. It was just the closest I could think. It's like, well, it's kind of artsy, maybe video games. But yeah, I was in the same boat. It's like I always thought. I remember being very young and my dad asking me, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And I knew I wanted to be an artist, but I didn't think it was a real job. So I thought, what's close to that's a real job? Oh, I'll be an architect. I can never be an architect.
Make squares and triangles.
Yeah, I can't use a ruler now. So it would never have worked. But yeah, I didn't have a good picture of it. So I went in for computer animation eventually. But what happened was while I was doing computer animation in my first semester, I discovered indie comics, which I guess is a segue to where we're going. I discovered indie comics because I grew up in the South. We didn't have a lot of indie stuff at my local shops. We had Marvel, we had DC. Image came in the 90s. That was about it. But then I discovered all this cool indie stuff. I discovered guys like Jim Mafood, who Jim Mafood was my guy. So his stuff introduced me to Dave Crosland, introduced me to guys like Scott Morse, Rob Schraub, just all these really cool indie guys. So that kind of broadened my horizons. And then I started going to conventions. And my first convention was in 2001, I believe. Wow. I graduated high school in 2000. Okay. So 2001, I started going to cons. I started actually working on my university newspaper. I was the head cartoonist for 5 years.
Perfect.
So all of that I was pursuing this computer animation thing, but not really. I was doing it because what else was I going to do?
Right.
But I was mostly parallel to that. I was going to conventions about every 6 months and portfolio reviews, meeting professionals, networking, business cards. This is early internet. So by that point, I was able to Google, how do I break into comics?
Right.
Of course, it wasn't Google. It was like Dogpile or something. It was something else. So that was helpful. But yeah, that was sort of my track.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when before I went to college, I remember my dad, I told my dad I wanted to be a comic book writer. He just looked at me, he said, that's fine, but what are you going to do for a real job? How are you going to feed your family?
Yeah. That's a valid question.
My problem was I didn't know the answer.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, Dad. I have no idea.
Yeah.
No clue.
But I like what you said, Rob, because it's a good deflection. If people ask you, what are you doing or what do you want to do? You can always say computer animation.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because once you say, I want to be a comic book artist, that opens up a whole door that sometimes should be closed when you're talking to people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, to this day, I've been doing this professionally full time since 2008. And to this day, if I tell people, I try never to answer the question, what do you do for a living? It's like, because I know if I'm going to say it, if I say comic book creator, it just opens the box.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
What they actually think is they think I'm unemployed.
Right.
They're not completely wrong.
No, you were really close. Right.
Well, it's funny because Tommy and I are a good buddy from Mississippi, also Stephen Butler. He says, he goes, I've been doing this for 35 years. He goes, people still come up to me and say, oh, that's cute that you draw comics. How do you make money?
Yeah.
What do you do for a job? And he goes, this is my job.
Yeah. He usually gets the "you ought to draw comics for a living" kind of thing when people, because he keeps it from all of his his friends at church and all the stuff. Most of the people that are in his congregation doesn't know that he's doing comic books.
No.
I was at a party once where it was not comic book people, and someone asked me what I did, and I said I manage a grocery store.
Yeah,
it's respectable. It's like they understand that. I used to work in a grocery store when I was a teenager, so I knew enough how to answer questions. It's like we're just going to close all the doors.
A couple of weeks back, Renee and I were at Universal with some friends, and some of them that never met me before. One guy had a big old Marvel shirt on. And like, that's cool. And then one of the other friends, you want to tell him that you work for Marvel? And I'm like, no.
It's
I don't want to get into that conversation because it's gonna, he's all of a sudden going to geek out and start talking about all kind of stuff. It's like, no. No.
I play softball with a guy who's a huge Deadpool fan, and so we've been playing since this season was since October, right? And he didn't find out till about 3 weeks ago. He goes, we've been playing all this time. You knew I love Deadpool. How come you didn't tell me you work for Marvel? And I'm like,
it's because that's where the conversation's going to go, and then I'm not going to have fun. I want to play softball.
I'm here to play.
I wanted to go ride roller coasters. Yeah, I wanted to go ride roller coasters, and the guy would have just been talking about, who was stronger, Superman or the Hulk, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. Yeah. I want to go ride roller coasters.
Predict the entire arc of the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah, I was actually getting my my two sons were getting their haircut, and we're sitting there just hanging out waiting, and the guy in the next room getting his haircut started talking about Gambit.
Oh no!
He's like, Gambit's gonna be there are new X-Men movies coming out. Gambit's gonna be in it. Oh, the Cajun accent is it gonna be authentic? And my son is just looking at me, and he knows. I'm just like, please no.
He's got your back.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to talk about this, but this will go on for hours and hours.
Yeah. H.R. Stock said that's such a relatable feeling. No one like me does this thing. Other people somewhere else do that thing. This is about your comments about the comments being made in New York. Yeah. He says, Rob, you said you made your own comics. What kind were they? Were they superheroes, mystery, etc.?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The first stuff was it was all superheroes, because superheroes is pretty much all I knew of comics. So the fourth grade stuff was all superhero stuff. I had essentially a bootleg Superman guy. This was like Death of Superman. This is Resurrection. Reign of the Superman, all that stuff. So everything, I literally was paralleling everything going on. Like, my guy died. He comes back. I got his back broke,
all that game, same kind of stuff.
Your sales go up?
Yeah, everything was superheroes.
Yeah, but don't you think that's how
there's nothing wrong with that.
Creator, you're copying the stuff that you enjoy, the stuff that is inspiring you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So did you finish your degree at ULL?
Yeah, I actually ended up switching over kind of midstream. So I switched to, because the story was computer animation was the plan, but then I got into it and actually started doing computer animation. And we didn't. Again, this is Lafayette, Louisiana, 2003. So this is pre really nice Macintosh computers.
Yeah, so they had some Commodore 64s that you were trying to do animation on.
It's looking like a Dire Straits video.
They were the G2s then, weren't they?
Yeah.
It was all the animation was that text ASCII animation. That's what you were doing.
Yeah. I mean, it just took so long. I could draw something in 5 minutes that took me weeks to animate, and it never worked out well. So I realized this is not going to work. So started thinking about what I could switch to, and then I settled on painting, actually, which just goes to show you that I had no intention of using my degree for anything. There was no way. So I switched to painting, and again, by that point, I'm 3 years in on going to conventions. I had already gotten tons of portfolio reviews. I was pumping out
while you're still in college, right?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. I mean, it was all parallel. So I had 2 lives going. I was doing the 12 hours a week to maintain my full-time status, to keep my top scholarship. But really, I was dedicating all of my time to making comics.
Yeah. So you had a secret identity.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you were a superhero.
Yeah. And was still doing the comic strips. I was doing 2 strips a week for my newspaper, university newspaper gig. And then, switched over to painting, and basically just thought, well, I had a good conversation with the head of the department and showed him I had started making comics again. At that point, I was working at Office Depot in their copy and print shop.
Nice. Got those discounts.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I did so many mini comics in that thing.
I mean, they have a saddle stitch stapler too.
Yeah, I did all of that stuff. So I was doing all that, was making these books, and was selling a few of them, handing them out and stuff. And I met the university head and talked to him about everything. And he said, well, painting might be good for you because, a painting can be lots of things. You can have the freedom to explore. You might learn some things. So I swapped over to painting, graduated in painting in 2005. And I never used that degree once.
I was going to say, that sounds like one of those degrees you just have to say, okay, now, what jobs did you think I was going to get with a painting degree?
Well, in my household growing up, if I told my parents I wanted to be a painter, and I presented it as like an artistic thing, they would think, well, at least you'll be able to paint houses when your career fails.
That's right. The whole,
Yeah.
He knows what a brush is. He can go.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean,
it's like art, but a fatter brush.
Yeah, I think the week before we graduated, the university newspaper came over and interviewed like me and a few other painting graduates, and they asked the question like, "So what are you going to do with this degree?" And we all had answers, but none of them had to do anything with using the degree. Like I don't even think they published the interview because it's just none of us had any intentions.
It wasn't usable. Is that what you're saying? That's what you came up with?
Yeah. The school newspaper advisor read it and said, yeah, don't publish that.
Shredded it immediately.
The head of the painting department will come over and kill us.
So now you said multiple times that your family is hardcore at being, I know Tommy and I, probably Mike too. Mike's from Kentucky, so that's practically South, right? We understand there's good hardcore Southern families. What did your family think about all of this comic book stuff going on while you were supposed to be getting an animation degree?
Yeah, I think they were just happy I was like not on the drugs. Wasn't in jail.
That's good.
Like, okay, cool. Like he'll just draw this comic thing and it'll be fine.
It's not a gang, right?
Right.
At least he's indoors.
There's more truth to that than you know. Yeah, I mean they were very supportive. They saw I was serious about it. I was pumping out tons of work, and it was actually getting really good. And I was serious about it. I was traveling all over the place. We drove. I mean, we were going to Texas on a regular basis for conventions. So we had the wherewithal to like rent cars and like take the road trips and get hotels. We were doing fine. And then we drove. The biggest trip we took was we drove from Lafayette, Louisiana to Long Beach, California.
Wow.
It was like me and 3 other buddies of mine that all wanted to make comics. We rented this old Chevy Impala and drove 28 hours straight to Long Beach, and it was great. I mean, we were really serious about it, and I think my parents respected that, and we're just happy that I was staying out of trouble.
Yeah.
You know?
So can you remember some of the early conventions that you attended and portfolio reviews and things like that?
Yeah, I mean the
What were
first
some of those
one.
early shows?
What's that?
What were some of those early shows?
Oh yeah, I mean the very first one was it was a Lone Star convention in Houston.
Okay.
In 2001-ish, I want to say late 2001. Again, I just discovered Jim Mafood's work, and it was really like opening my mind to a lot of possibilities. And just so happened a buddy of mine was going, the buddy of mine that went to the Art Institute in Houston where I wanted to go sends me a flyer, and it said, you know, Comic-Con coming to town in a month. Here's the list of guests. And I saw Mafood on the list, and I thought, oh, this is convenient. So I don't know why we did this, but we rode the Greyhound bus there, which made no sense. I don't know why we would do that. It's like, I don't know what we were thinking. We got the Greyhound bus. What's that?
I said it was a road trip.
It was a road trip,
bus trip, but
yeah. So we went over there, went to the show. I stalked Mafood all weekend, and it was an unbelievable guest list in hindsight. It's like, you know, Frank Cho, Mark Wade. Let's see, Mike Ringo was there also. Him and Wade were just starting their Fantastic Four run.
Oh,
cool.
Scott Kurtz, Mafood, Andy Kuhn was there. Who else? It was just a crazy, ridiculous list of people, and it was just this tiny thing in a few hotel. Like it wasn't even like the conference center. It was like they had cleared out like 3 closets and just shoved these artists in there.
Oh, I've done many of those.
That's my favorite kind of show, though.
Yeah. So the first portfolio I got was actually this is funny. This is not a professional portfolio review, but when I'm waiting in line to meet Mafood to show him my portfolio, I remember standing in line with this young guy who's about my age, and he looked an awful like. This is a weird thing to remember, but I remember he looked exactly like Owen Wilson. It was really weird. And he was like, "Hey, you got a portfolio?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so I broke out my portfolio. He looked at it. He flipped through it. He said, "No, it's kind of cartoony." He just walked away. I was like, "Okay, it's not a good sign." You're
like, "Thanks a lot," right?
Right. Thanks. And then right after that, I met Andy Kuhn. Andy Kuhn actually gave me my first professional portfolio review.
Nice.
And Andy and I, we've become friends over the years. He has no recollection of this whatsoever. But he gave me a positive review, and then stalked Mafood until the end of the show. Eventually got to meet him. He had a bunch of really kind words and encouraged me. And that really was when I thought, okay, I could really do this. You know, when I have professionals that are telling me, you have chops, you're telling a story, go for it. You know, that's when I just went all in with it.
Nice.
So yeah, the Lone Star show was the first one. Started doing a lot of Wizard shows back in the day.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, the Wizard went through a lot of cycles.
Yeah, they did.
The mini cycles, the mini lives of Wizard.
Very nice way to say it.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, the early shows were great. Like, I think it was Arlington or Dallas. I did a lot of those. Those are the very first shows I set up at. And, you know, the very first show I did, we drove over there, had stuff, had portfolio. And then I realized when we set up the table, we didn't bring anything to sell. We should, like, this whole thing is sell things.
What?
All I had was my portfolio. What am I thinking?
Oh, no.
So I hustled. You know, I drew some sketches while I was sitting behind the table, ran in the Office Depot, made some cheap prints and sold them, and actually made a little profit over the weekend.
Oh, nice.
So that was the first official, like, oh, this is working the show. Like, I got my very first commissions there. I think my first commission was like $15 or something, like
nice.
And yeah, just rinse and repeat on that stuff. Eventually got some traction, I think, in 2005, so 2006-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever do the Dallas Fantasy Fair?
No, never did that one.
I know Tommy and I did that. This one goes back to the early 90s.
Yeah.
Dallas was always
shows
really
my dad's from that area. I've done a bunch of shows.
Dallas has always been a cartoon hub.
I was going to say, we went to Dallas several times. I want to say about 3 years in a row, and Dallas was always good to us. Sometimes better than our hometown of Hattiesburg.
Oh yeah, well, there wasn't a whole lot going on.
Sometimes
except for a lot of comic book artists, but there are comic book creators rather. But there wasn't a whole lot of shows going on in Hattiesburg.
No, there wasn't.
So when did you meet Lehman?
Man, this is funny. I mean, Lehman, I actually followed Lehman for a bit. His stuff, he had done a book with Dave Crosland called Puffed at Image in like 2001 or 2, right when I was starting to kind of break into comics. And I loved it. Like the humor, I love the humor in it, love the art style. And then from there, I followed Layman through a few books. He did Scarface at IDW, also with Crosland, a few other books. So I was a fan of his stuff. And people had told me over the years, as I started kind of making, like networking, they kept telling me like, you should meet John. And I actually did meet him once before at Shoe. He has no recollection of this whatsoever. And he was completely like, I'm unimpressed.
Oh, no.
No.
And then a year later, that's when him and I officially met. I had just decided, this is 2008. This is July of 2008. I had a night job. I was out of college. And I decided to really go all in on comics. I had been married like a year. So I think I was getting ready to go to San Diego Comic-Con. That was the next day. It's like a Tuesday. And I was gearing up. This was going to be the big show where I had actually just put in my notice at my job like 2 weeks before and said like, I'm going to go all in on comics because I had been going to Comic-Con for a few years at that point.
That makes wives happy.
Yeah, right? Well, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like,
okay. I have a story. So my wife she was very supportive, and she saw that I was clearly good at this, and she wanted me to give it a fair try. And she saw it. I was driven, I was making the connections. I was doing the thing, and we didn't have any kids back then. So she said, we worked out a plan and said, let's give it 5 years. 5 years, I can chase this thing.
Very
and then
reasonable.
at some point, after 5 years, if I haven't gained traction, comics goes to the side burner. I get a real job. We start having kids.
Right.
And thankfully, so I gave my notice to work, going to Comic-Con, and I'm stressing about the whole thing, really wondering if I'd made a giant mistake. And I get an email, and it says, "Hi, Rob," from John Layman. And I open it up, and he's like, "I got this book. You come highly, recommended from a mutual friend, a guy named Brandon Jerwa, who I'd worked with. He's a writer. I worked with him at Tokyo Pop for a while. He happened to be a good friend of Layman's. And Layman had been looking for an artist for this book that he had been pitching around called Shoe. And everyone thought it was a horrible idea. He was an editor at DC and Wildstorm. I think he pitched it to them. And they actually told him, don't ever make this book. It will be the it'll be the end of your career.
Gosh.
And
famous comic book words, right?
That is fighting words for John Layman. You don't ever tell John Layman that kind of thing. So John Layman settled in and said, fine, I would do this, and it will be the middle finger to comics before I quit comics. So he stored up a nest egg, and he reaches out to Brandon and says, do you know any artists for this thing? And he said, you should use Rob. So he reaches out to me. He said, he makes me the offer. He doesn't even tell me what it is. All he tells me is it's a police procedural with elements of sci-fi and horror, which is the most general pitch.
Generic?
That doesn't sound like the comic at all.
Right. I was like, this is a blob. I don't know what this is.
A great elevator pitch. Got it. Go.
That's how I would tell my mom about it.
Right.
Start drawing.
But I was also, again, this is like the perfect timing. I'm going to Comic-Con the very next day to make this happen. And he's like, well, I think Image is gonna get it. Like, we'll at least do 5 issues. Maybe, maybe there'll be some back end. I didn't know what back end was. I never made back end at that point.
Back in, yeah. That sounds good.
Whatever. If, you tell me this is like I could recognize an opportunity when I saw it, and I saw, okay, cool, I'm doing this. So he sends me the script, and my wife actually read it on the plane over at San Diego before I ever did. And she looks at me, and she's not a comic fan by any stretch.
Yeah.
But she looks at me and she says, this is you. Like, this is so you. It's incredible.
Wow.
So I read it. Next day I met Layman outside of the Hyatt lobby in San Diego. And he was a little drunk at the time.
At San Diego? No.
Right.
I love a good comic.
You got to be a little drunk to go to San Diego, I think.
Yeah, he was a little drunk at the time. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And we hook up. He starts telling me what he's thinking. I'm like, I think this is going to work. And so we started working on it immediately after, and it debuted a year later, and it's kind of blew up from there.
For those who don't know, back end is royalties.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. So it took a year before from the time you guys kind of conceived it there in San Diego before it to hit the stands.
Mhm.
This is something I don't think a lot of non-comic creators understand, is that they think, oh well, why isn't it out next week?
Mhm. Yeah.
Right.
Because not only do you have to make it right,
Mhm.
but you have to go through of course times are changing, so who knows what's happening now, but
Mhm.
you have to go through the solicitation process.
Yep.
They get time to order it, then the orders have to go to the publisher, then the publisher has to print it, then they have to print it, and then they ship it to the distributor. The distributor, so it takes time.
Yes.
All while you're doing the next issue.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, you got to keep going.
Yeah. And I mean, I was actually blessed in that Layman he was working in video games at the time. So he had stored up a bit of a nest egg that he was paying me some front end. But I mean,
nice.
the front end was, I mean, this is also 2008 money. This is not like 2026 money. So it was, I think I made about $100 a page for pencils, inks, and colors.
Wow. Okay.
But which I was happy to take because I realized, okay, this I could, even if it didn't become more than this, I could still use this as a portfolio piece.
Yes.
To potentially get more work.
And
but of
also,
course, it went beyond that.
And also, and I say this with the greatest amount of love that I possibly can, you're in Louisiana.
Exactly.
Right. So
Yeah,
so $100 a page is a lot different in Louisiana and Mississippi than it is in California or in New York.
Also, it's easier to get work if you have a professionally published comic book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's because because the thing that most editors don't want to see is that giant portfolio that comes out and spreads open. It's more like, no, I have an image comic.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a really good calling card.
Here's my portfolio. Here's my work. Yeah. It makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
A couple questions here. Atris Docs says, Rob, when did you feel it was real to you? When did you feel like you first thought, I'm in comics?
It was in July of 2009.
Well, that's very specific.
I know exactly when. So it was. So
He's got a tattoo. It's on his arm.
Shoe number 1 came out. I can't forget this. It was June 3rd, 2009. It was the day after my birthday.
Oh.
So a month later, San Diego Comic-Con happened, and it's my first Chew Comic-Con. This is the first time I go to Comic-Con and I have like a thing.
Right.
And we're at that point, Image had its own artist alley. So we're hanging out. Me and John are hanging out. At that point, I think Chew number 1 and 2 were out, and that was it. And we had like a line of people. We had like tons of people show up. And this is the first time I walked away from Comic-Con having made money and sold original art and all this kind of stuff. And it was so insane. And then coming back home and getting to my drawing desk after that, I couldn't draw for a week. And Layman was freaked out too. I think we had both been grinding for so long. And it's, when you're first starting out, you're basically kind of yelling into the abyss.
Right.
And like, no one's in there, but I'm just going to keep yelling into it.
Right.
But at some point someone yells back and it's like, oh, there's like somebody else on the other end of this discussion.
And they're waving money.
Yeah. Yeah. So the weight of it hit. And that's when I realized not only am I in it, but I'm actually in it in a pretty high level quickly. And I can't screw this up. So the big thing I think that happened at the show, I don't think I've ever talked about this publicly. So Robert Kirkman was like immensely like influential to my career very early on. I met him in pre-Chew. This is 2004 or 5.
Okay.
And this is before Robert Kirkman was. Yeah, it was before Robert Kirkman was Robert Kirkman.
Right.
But he was still Robert Kirkman even back then. He was still the guy. I met him at the Cape show in Austin or Dallas. This is forever ago.
Okay.
And we're hanging out, and we end up riding back to the hotel together because we're all together. And we end up having dinner together, talking. So I knew him, and I reached out to him several times. Walking Dead was well in its like ascendancy at that point. No TV show yet or anything, but he was still the guy. And I would reach out to him.
A lot of copies of Black and White.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'd been reaching out to him for advice, and he'd always reply. And whenever Chew blew up, he was the first guy that realized there was something there. So he really is the guy who put his stamp on it and made it like he put it in front of his audience by putting Chew in Walking Dead, and then that like catapulted everything.
Yeah.
So we're at San Diego, that same San Diego Comic-Con, the very first one for Chew in 2009, and I'm taking it all in. It's the last day of the show, and I'm walking through it for the first time because I've been busy at the table. I'm walking through the center, the convention center, all these people, and I end up coming upon Robert Kirkman, who's moving in the same direction. He's talking to somebody, and he sees me, and he's saying, "Hey," he waves me over. He's like, "Hey, you heading this way?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're heading this way." So he ends up like coming beside me and talking to me, and at this point, we only had 2 issues out. And I was talking about taking a break between issues 5 and 6 because we had only planned on it being 5 issues, maybe, but with the potential for more. Yeah. But we didn't expect it to be so meteoric. So we realized, like, holy crap, we could do this maybe 60 issues. But I was getting tired, so I thought I need a break between 5 and 6 because I literally learned how to. I had to figure out how to do it monthly. Yeah. How am I going to do it monthly?
And that's a lot of work.
Yes,
we're not talking just penciling, right? I mean, that's
pencils, inks, colors.
That's a lot of work,
right? So Kirkman knew about this, and because he had been in all the emails with us and Eric Stevenson about like when it blew up, we were corresponding and trying to figure out how to capitalize on it the best and catch it.
Yeah.
So he knew I was talking about taking a break. He came beside me and he says, "Hey, so I hear you're thinking about taking a break between issues 5 and 6." It's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You really shouldn't do that." And he started talking to me and giving me all this wisdom. Yeah. And he was talking about Ryan Ottley at that point.
Let's help you figure out how to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. He was talking about why Ryan Ottley wasn't working at Marvel at that point. And he said the reason Ryan Ottley's not working at Marvel is because they can't pay him what he makes on Invincible. And he started breaking down to me the business of comics and like the economics and the money. And no one had ever done that before. And he basically told me, "I know it's going to be hard to keep this thing going. Keep it going as long as you possibly can. Trust me, it'll be worth it." And he did like the Godfather thing, right? Like he literally like said, "One day I may come to you asking for a favor." He did that whole thing. He actually did it. But that was when I realized, like, holy crap, like I am in it now. Like I've been trying to break into it for a good 7 years at that point, and now like I'm in it. So that's when I figured it out.
Was he a partner at Image by that time?
Maybe I'm not sure. Yeah, he actually was. Okay. Yeah, he was.
Because I know they made him a partner right around the time of Walking Dead success, but I don't.
They made him
the year.
They made him one of the core,
right? Yeah,
and then I think he became a partner, and then he became like the big guy, and then he became Skybound.
Yeah.
So. I mean, it's great because I think a lot of creators have not had that conversation when they've gotten that early success or that kind of level of success, and it really helps to have somebody sort of, everybody's concerned about, well, how do I break in and how do I get monthly schedules, but very few people ever have the money talk about how this is how the thing works.
Yes, and then maintaining momentum. His what he contended was from the very beginning that we had to go at least a full year before we took any kind of hiatus. And he was right. So I powered through it, and I did 10 issues in a year, and I burned myself to a nub. But it paid off. I mean, it really, I think, I mean, we retained, I mean, it's crazy to think about now in hindsight, but I didn't realize then how rare it was. But for 64 issues, we hovered between like, I think it was usually like 10,000 copies per month versus to like 16,000, 10 to 16,000 per month.
That's fantastic.
For like 8 years.
Yeah. That's great.
So that's really
insane.
Indie comic.
That's fantastic. David A. Scudera says, "I love spite success stories."
Because that's the thing. It's the question I would love to ask is of Layman, because so many people told him that it was a worthless idea and he should never do it. And then he does it, and then it becomes a real success story. And I just wonder,
for me, I don't know everybody but Rob. I don't know if the first time you heard Chew, I thought, what a cool title to begin with, right? And then when I heard the concept, I'm like, okay, that's even cooler. I want to I need to read this issue to see what this is.
It sounds like the funny Vertigo book that Vertigo would never do.
But it's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is.
Oh no, this isn't dark enough for Vertigo. There's humor here.
Yeah. Well, the first test pages I did, there's a test page of Chew that I did. My first take on the Meet Tony Chew page. It's actually in the Chew Omnivore hardcover. But the first take I did was in response to Layman telling me, I pitched this at Vertigo, blah, 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 blah. So I thought, okay, Vertigo.
Oh, so he did pitch it to Vertigo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, he absolutely did. That's what I'm saying. It's exactly what it is. But so my first take on it was a bit darker.
Right.
And Layman hated it. Layman was like, this is not what I want. I was like, what do you actually want? Because at this point, I was kind of beaten down as an artist because I hadn't like created my own little niche of the industry. So like, I thought
you hadn't established your brand yet.
Yeah, no one knew what to do with me. So whenever I would put my work out there, they just thought, oh, let's put him on like a kid's book or something. Right. And I'm interested in doing like horror and sci-fi and like serious stuff with some humor. Right. So I had like all the pro work, the work for hire work was that kind of stuff. It was all like kind of kiddie, cartoony stuff. And then I had a blog back then, and I would post all this stuff I was doing in my free time, which was more like the Chew stuff. And when I asked Layman, what do you want from me? Like, what do you want? And he said, that stuff that's on your website, that stuff. He was like, well, okay, it's your money because no one else wants this. Like, no one wants this. But if you want me to draw like that, that's actually how I naturally draw. So I started doing it my way, and immediately it became what it became. But I didn't have a picture for it because no one else was doing it. So I didn't know. Right. I didn't know that it was naturally like a lane for me to press into.
Yeah. Because who would you say your style is the closest to from the time that when you started Chew? Who would have been your stylish contemporaries?
I mean, I can tell you, I guess my influences that I think. Let's
go there.
Right. You know, I mean, it's like I said, Mafood's huge. You know, that kind of loose, cartoony kind of thing, graffiti-esque kind of thing. I'm trying to think who else. There were actually a lot of like manga kind of influences, like Rumika Takahashi, Akira Toriyama, who did Dragon Ball Z. But also, like, again, I grew up with a lot of Marvel stuff. So like John Buscema, like how to draw comics the Marvel way was like massive for me. But at the same time, you know, I was probably more of an animation person than a comics person. You know, I was a cartoon guy. You know, because I can
see that in some of the expressions that you do, whether you exaggerate the expression. I see the manga influence in there or the anime influence in there, but it's still very clearly your own.
Yeah, well, all of it kind of merged. But I mean, we're talking like Looney Tunes, we're talking Tom and Jerry, Warner, all the Warner Brothers stuff, like all of it. Yeah, I mean, Batman the Animated Series, Bruce Timm. I mean, all of that stuff was baked into my childhood and coming up. So like, you know, when I was first started breaking the comics, I was trying to draw like a Marvel house style, what I thought comics were. And it was horrible. It was horrible. And then one day, just on a whim, I was messing around with a cartoony thing. And a friend of mine at the time, I sent him two pieces I was working on. One was, and this is 2001, maybe. I sent him two pieces I was working on. One was supposed to be this serious, like, superhero thing in a Marvel style. And then another thing was like a cartoony thing I was just kind of screwing around with. And I remember going to him and saying, hey, what'd you think of that stuff I sent you? He said, well, I don't know about that crappy like Marvel thing you sent me, but that other thing you sent me, that cartoony thing, it's like, I think that might be your style. And I thought, that's ridiculous, because it was naturally coming out of me. It wasn't like the thing I forced. So that's when I started thinking, okay, maybe there's something, maybe it doesn't have to be hard. Right. Maybe it can just be like a natural thing that comes out of me.
That's the thing too. A lot of people get focused on, I got to get in that Marvel and DC house style because I only see Marvel and DC as a way to make a living in comics. And it's like, well, that's a really old idea. You could make a living in comics a different way.
Right.
Yep. As always, we trust the potato. Hyper Potato says, I'm late. Make sure you like and subscribe, kids. Thank you, Hyper. You always have our back in that. Yes, make sure you like and subscribe wherever you happen to be listening to a show. Atris also says, trusting the potato.
So then the next thing you did was Farmhand, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I got the order correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And where what I love about Farmhand, especially, is I love the little hand logo that you created. And I love all the background details. I love the funny signs that pop up, and I love all the other stuff anyway. But it seems like that's sort of you exploding, where
well, I try to give people their money's worth, and I like. I remember that comes from a couple places. The big one is Watchmen.
Okay.
I used to have a big copy of a Watchmen on my table. And Jim Afu does this kind of stuff. A lot of indie guys do this kind of stuff, like where they'll just have stuff in the background and you're just constantly discovering it. And I just liked that every time I picked up Watchmen, I was always finding something new, and I just felt like there was just so much richness there that every time I read it, I was getting more bang for my buck. And I like that. I like giving people layered work that they go back to, they can keep picking it up, keep re-experiencing it in different ways. So like a lot of my stuff, the biggest flattery I can get is when people read my stuff, they often tell me they read it once for the story. They go back and they read it for the art, and then they'll go back again and start pouring through everything. So like, I'm a big fan
of the Easter eggs.
Yeah. I like, especially nowadays, it's very hard to get people's attention and maintain it. So you can really like get people offline and focus on a thing. I feel like I've like done something,
Right.
Also, I find there's some internet chatter, which is like, oh, did you see this? And it's like, no, I read the same thing and I totally missed that in that panel. I got to go back and see what they saw that I just breezed by.
And of course, harkening back to one of our earlier discussions, I need a page number for that.
That's right. Yes. It's somewhere in the middle of the book, Roland.
Right. Let's see here. Christopher Brown, what's up, Christopher? Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Says, if you had to draw for one writer, who would it be and why?
That's a big question. Man, I think I would probably. Man, I don't know. The guy that I really, really like, whose work I keep going back to over and over again, is Warren Ellis. Actually,
oh yeah.
His comic Fell with Ben Templesmith is one of my personal favorites. I absolutely love that thing. Yeah. And his Next Wave stuff is probably, if I had to draw any like Marvel characters, it probably would be Next Wave. It's just the most fun superhero comic I could possibly think of. So yeah, I love his work.
Now, have you ever done work for Marvel or DC at this point?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I did some Thor work, a little bit of Spider-Man, and then a little bit of Batman stuff here and there.
Okay. Wow.
Cool.
But now we notice, of course, with great joy, that you continue to gravitate back to the independent stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say this is where your heart is?
Oh yeah. I mean, I like doing my own thing.
Yeah. Now, you got something new in the works, right?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of new at the moment.
So,
yeah.
Do you want to talk about any of that right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
I have a 3-book deal, 3-series deal at Ignition Press right now. The very first of them, and it's going to be a combination of things. So the plan initially is to do 3 different books, 3 different ways. So the first book is going to be one that I'm writing for a different artist. The second one is going to be a book that I probably write and draw. And the third is going to be a book that I draw for another writer.
Okay, cool.
So 3 different books, 3 different experiences. I've done all of it in my career, and I like every one of them is a very different dynamic as a creator. So I'm going to play around with all that. But yeah, the first Ignition book comes out May 6th. It's a book called Innards. Actually, I have it first.
I like the name.
Yeah, this is the cold open.
Cool.
So the cold open, yeah. So the first issue comes out May 6th. The rough pitch for that one is it takes place in a future where the oil has run out for various reasons. So we have
Tuesday.
Right. Yeah. So we have to go looking for a new alternative energy source, and we find one deep underground. But the only way to get through it is through teleportation. And it's not good teleportation. It's like crappy oil-filled redneck teleportation, where you can lose fingers and that sort of thing in transit. But they use it to go down there and harvest this new energy source, and they find out something's down there. So dark comedy, horror, sci-fi kind of thing.
Nice.
So that's the first thing. I'm also working on a new creator-owned book with John Layman. It's actually going to be our first creator-owned book since Chew.
Excellent.
So, which is odd because we're actually coming up. This fall will be the 10-year anniversary of us of finishing Chew, which is crazy to think about.
Wow.
Holy
Yeah.
mackerel.
Yeah.
It
So
goes too fast.
yeah, so that's gonna be the big one. We're actually gonna be announcing that one in the next month. So yeah, that's the two big ones I'm working on.
I think you talked about that a little bit on Facebook, haven't you?
A little bit. I've hinted briefly.
Yeah, because I think that's the one I was aware of from your post.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
where's the Chew movie? Where's my Chew TV show?
Oh man. Oh well. I mean, we've optioned Chew about half a dozen times at this point in the last.
I bet.
Yeah. We've gone back and forth. Showtime had it for a while for live action. That didn't work out. Heavy Metal had it a while for animation. Skybound actually had it for a bit. Also for live action. Warner Brothers actually had it for a bit for animation as well. But yeah, so we always have had inquiries for Chew. It's always been in some form of development. It's just kind of never worked out.
Wait,
but the good news, there's good news. The good news is that Hollywood has sort of shifted, and it used to be when we started Chew, they were always trying to kind of like change the comic. It's like, well, this worked in comics, it would never work in Hollywood.
Right.
But I think now they're realizing, oh, wait a minute, we can probably just adapt this directly, and people would probably like it.
Wait, don't we know an animator here on this stream? Doesn't someone almost have an animation degree?
Yeah, but you don't want Rob to do his own animation.
Oh, I'm not.
No,
absolutely not.
No, he wants to. If I were you, I'd just sit back with my cigar and my whiskey and say, no, that's not right. Draw it again. I don't want to
do it again. Do it
And
again.
a consultant fee, yeah.
Atris has a pitch for you, Rob. He says, in a world where rednecks have figured out teleportation.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, it's funny. The redneck part is like what people seem to like about it. Like I announced it at a comic.
You're from Louisiana.
It just came out, right? Well, it was largely influenced by my time in the oil field. I never worked in the oil field, but I was
did
a
you
dispatcher.
skip this?
Yeah, we didn't do that.
Yeah, I was a dispatcher.
How did you skip this? Your time in the oil field? What?
I've had many jobs.
We have more questions.
Yeah. Well,
how did you not even mention that at all?
Well, this was in the phase after I graduated college, and I was in between. The plan during college was I'm gonna go to comic conventions every 6 months. By the time I graduate college, obviously I will go right into comics right after.
Obviously,
that did not work out that way. So I ended up getting a job as a dispatcher for the oil field. So it was a transportation company. It's basically we are the guys that the rig hands have to call when they say I need to get from this rig to this place. They would call us, and we would call drivers, and drivers would go pick them up. And it was an endless array of just super interesting people. I mean, just really weird, quirky, amazing people. And I always thought, I've got to make something from this. This is just good.
So you took notes, in other words.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting for years. So this Innards really kind of comes out of that. It's just really sweet people, some not so sweet people, but they all kind of, everyone goes to the oil field for various reasons. Everyone's trying to provide for their families in different ways.
Right.
And just seeing what people will sacrifice to do that makes for a pretty good story. So that's really what Innards is.
You watch Landman?
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
David,
go ahead.
It also sounds like the first 15 minutes of Armageddon before the meteors hit, where they're all in the oil rigs.
Yeah, it's got some of that too. Yeah.
David A. Scudres says, "Who are your writing influences?" You talked about your art influences. Who are your writing influences?
I was a big Stephen King guy, actually.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah. I don't love everything he does, and some of this stuff just falls apart. I mean, it just doesn't hold up. But when he gets it really right, like The Stand or Salem's Lot. Salem's Lot's a personal favorite of mine. So I think King's probably the big one for me, honestly.
Okay. No, what about some of any of the regional guys? Isn't Joe Lansdale's from close to you? And he's from Texas, I think, East Texas.
Yeah,
I think so. No regional guys. Nobody writing in about Louisiana stories.
No, I didn't read a lot of Louisiana stories. I was busy reading comics.
Is there a huge Louisiana culture of?
I don't think so. The only one I can actually even think of off the top of my head is Anne Rice.
Yeah,
Right.
that's about it.
We have Ernest Gaines.
Ernest Gaines. Okay.
Yeah, he's a big one.
Don't know Ernest Gaines, so I'll have to look that one up.
Everyone knows Anne Rice. She's the one everyone knows.
I know. Yeah. So, all right. Any questions, you guys? I've dominated the questions here, and we're already at an hour. You guys have any questions?
I'm just here to make snotty comments. I don't really ask questions. Well, I would say I'm glad that you and Layman are still working together. I think that because usually creators who work together for 64 issues or whatever, they're kind of done with each other. So it's good to see that you guys are still at it. And I think that as you've gone on and done stuff on your own, it's good to see that you guys can still connect and want to make something together. I think that's. I won't say it's beautiful, but it sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we never lost touch. We would text pretty regularly. I mean, that's the thing about when you work with someone on something creative for so long. It's like a long conversation. It's like an 8-year conversation where we were just every day. I'd send him new work. He'd send me stuff. We go back and forth. So I think after Chew, honestly, and he knows this, I've said this publicly, I was immediately ready to do something else with him. And I kept saying, John,
really,
what else you got? Because
Yeah.
I kept thinking of like Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb. They've done all these books together.
Right.
And I thought, like, let's be that. Let's just like be this team of guys who just hops over and does all this stuff.
Yeah.
And to my chagrin, he didn't have anything. He's like, I don't have anything. I was like, really?
That's a terrible writer answer.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, I got a whole drawer full of stuff.
Right? Yeah, that's a terrible writer answer.
But it worked out. I mean, before I met him at the convention, I was going to go to break into to really like make my way at the convention where I met Layman. I went there to break in as a writer artist because I was writing my own stuff.
Right.
So I always intended to write my own stuff. But then Chew happened. And then I thought, well, why would you end a good thing? Why don't you just keep this thing going?
Right.
But then he didn't have anything. And I knew I think I'm supposed to start writing my own stuff because I've been talking about this for like 15 years.
Right.
So that's when I went into FARMHAND and started doing my own thing there. And I think in the long run, it ended up being for the best. I think I'm way more competent as a creator and capable as a creator now, especially as a writer, than I was during Chew. So I think I probably have more to bring to the collaboration than I did during Chew.
Yeah. I mean, that's expected, though, as growth, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned Stephen King. Who are some of your comic book writing influences?
Who are the big ones? I mean, I mentioned Ellis. Who else? Who's the big one? I actually was a big fan of a lot of Dan Jurgens stuff.
Okay.
Like, in terms of like superhero stuff, I mean,
I
had the pleasure to meet Dan years ago, and I was like, I geeked out so hard meeting that guy. But Dan's his Superman run is probably my favorite superhero comics, period.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, some Chris Claremont stuff too. What's that?
Claremont, yeah.
Another guy who started writing as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
He started as quote unquote just an artist, and then he became the all around creator.
Yep.
What about What about independent comics? What are some of your favorite independent comics?
Mm-hmm.
What about titles? What about creators, writers and artists, or writer artists, whatever? Talk about it. We love indie comics on this stream, obviously. So, what are some of your favorites there? And I can't believe you're so young. You missed the '80s boom.
I missed a lot. I still catch stuff from time to time.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Scud the Disposable Assassin was.
I love that one. Yeah.
That's my favorite.
That's big. I don't know. Does Bone count?
Yeah. Bone.
Bone. I mean, Bone's pretty huge.
Yeah. I mean, he was incredibly independent until he went with Scholastic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
But even then they were just republishing. They weren't really.
Right. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was
They
new
weren't
stuff.
controlling him. Yeah.
Right. Like I said, everything Mahfoud did, I bought up immediately.
I had to Google that name. I don't know it.
Oh man, Jim Mahfoud.
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot of kind of superhero parodies on Kickstarter lately.
The Arachnid Enforcer is the first thing that comes up on his website. I'm gonna check him out.
He's unbelievable. He's been around forever. But he's like one of the most prolific and humble and like just positive. Like we brought him out for our local convention last year, and he is just relentlessly driven and optimistic. And I don't know how he retains. He's a little older than me, but he somehow has gotten through this industry and has retained his like optimism. Like, how did you do this? How have you not been crushed?
What are you saying, Rob? Are you saying you're beaten down?
I wouldn't say beaten down. I'm saying I'm definitely a bit more weathered than I was about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think all industries are soul crushing to a certain extent. It's just,
especially creative ones. I think.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe non-ones are, because I think about my dad putting in the years at his job, and I think he was fairly soul crushed by the end.
When my dad was a chemistry professor, and when he was ready to retire, he's like, he just threw up his hands and said, "Okay, that's it. My time's up."
Walk out.
Yeah. Atris says getting a little jaded is fair for anyone in any job. I agree with that. Yeah. David H. Gutierrez says, Rob, what are you reading and watching these days?
Oh man, I don't get to read and watch nearly as much as I used to, but we've been catching up on Fallout.
I love Fallout.
Yeah. Fallout's great. It's so ridiculous but well done. You know, Walton Goggins is just amazing at everything. So that's the big show we watch. We tend to watch a lot of random, we ended up watching last night. Me and my wife went on a bit of a date, staycation without the kids, and we watched the last Jurassic Park movie.
Okay.
Oh,
nice.
It was pretty good. Horrible.
Oh, you didn't like it? I kind of liked it.
Well, here's the thing. I do like bad movies sometimes.
Yeah.
Like Battleship is one of my all-time favorites.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Battleship in theaters on purpose.
Oh, you spent money on it.
So
my go-to is Battle Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, a lot of what I'm picking up nowadays, I'm picking up some of the Absolute Batman stuff. A lot of Kickstarter stuff, honestly. I just got Jason Latour's Super Ego. That's a collection of all these random, amazing strips and shorts he's done in the last couple of years. That's amazing. What else do I have? I have a stack. The Future is.
Okay, nice.
That's a good one. I'm actually catching up on Casanova. It's old, good. Matt Fraction.
Yep.
Fabio Moon. I have a giant shelf full of things. I buy beautiful books all the time. And then I keep saying, like, I'm going to read them like one day when I stop being so busy and these kids stop being in my house. But it hasn't come
Get
yet.
them out. Kick them out.
I will tell you the beautiful books are very heavy if you have to move.
Yes, they are. Yeah. So buy small boxes.
Yeah. And I actually just picked up, I think it's Beehive Books. They do these really nice hardcover, gorgeous, just all these effects and die cuts and stuff. They're taking a bunch of these classic like fables and stuff and bringing in these amazing artists. So I actually have Pinocchio drawn by Mike Mignola.
Really?
Wow. It is unbelievable.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That sounds great. I got to look up his take on the big nose guy.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's one of those giant books that it's just going to take up all the space.
I'm going to have to go to somebody's house to read it then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Louisiana's not real close to anything. I know this because, Mississippi's not either. So what shows do you get to kind of on the regular? Which ones do you like to do? Do you go to San Diego every year?
Not anymore. I did San Diego about 12 years straight. And that was enough.
Yeah.
I got to watch it really just explode.
Yeah.
So I don't do that one as much anymore. I've cut back a good bit really since COVID, honestly. I was doing, I mean, for about a decade, I was doing a show pretty much every month. There,
That's crazy. That's
San Diego, Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, C2E2, Baltimore Comic-Con, Heroes. I was doing Heroes every year.
Heroes is a great one.
Absolutely. So I'm looking to pick up some of those. I think Heroes is going to be one of the ones I pick back up.
Yeah. Good.
I keep hearing about what's the Florida show? Is it MegaCon?
Yeah, that was this weekend.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a MegaCon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
it's huge. It's very big. It's very much a media con.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more a little more like San Diego-ish
I was gonna say
than a comic convention.
Yeah, it's more like San Diego than Heroes Con.
Okay.
So,
but there's a show in San Antonio I did last year called Casa.
Okay.
That is purely comics, no multimedia or whatever.
Oh, nice.
And it was unbelievable. It was just pure old school, like the creative energy was just so nice.
That's where Ben Dunn is.
I was gonna say, is that because I think didn't Antarctic Press put on a show down there?
I don't know. I don't remember them seeing them.
I don't remember that, but Ben's in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's my real question.
No,
Based on the deal that you cut with your wife at the very beginning, would you say it worked out?
Yeah. I mean, it could have gone way
worse.
Worked out. What's that?
Would she say it worked out?
She would say it worked out.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely there are frustrations. The hard thing about comics, at least for us, is that it's almost impossible to forecast.
Right.
She's an entrepreneur also. She's in construction. And she's very by the book, numbers centric. And I've had to learn a lot about business, and I'm still learning a lot about business. I mean, when we were very early in the marriage, before we got married, when she first saw my comics and she thought, oh my God, you're so good at this. You're talented. Like, oh, that's awesome. And her first question was, so do people make a living doing this?
That's a good question to ask, right?
How good is for you?
And she brought out her little notebook and she goes, no.
I didn't have an answer for it because I didn't know anyone who was.
Right.
I mean, I think really it was like by the grace of God this all worked out because I mean, I remember again talking to Kurtman about this, and he was kind of in a similar boat where he had racked up all this credit card debt trying to get stuff off the ground before anything took. And I remember him saying he was going to do this even if he was working at Subway. Like, there's just no way around this. I'm going to do this. Yep. So yeah, but it's difficult. It is very difficult.
That.
Yeah.
I get that. Atris Doc says books. I hear the interns is available. Oh, thank you, Atris. I appreciate that. Shout out about my book. Royal Airships. What's up, Rory? He says moving with books is no joke. I might be moving back to Florida, and I have a box of comics thanks to Roland. Well, come on back, Rory.
Hopefully, move to this area.
Hi,
we'll
Rory.
hang out.
Right. The David A. Scudera says, "What is your method when writing for another artist? Is it the Marvel method or of super detailed scripts?" Ooh, I like that question.
Yeah, I hate the Marvel method.
No way! You're not allowed on this show. No, you can't hate the Marvel method.
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, I've worked in it before. It just feels kind of lazy.
Do you hate it? So, do you hate it as a writer, or do you hate it as an artist, or both?
I hate it both. I just hate it. I mean, look. I mean, certain artists are fine with it. For me, I like working. I've worked with all kinds of writers over the years. And there were writers I knew early in my career that were just very lazy, and they just didn't bring anything to it at all.
Right.
And I think working with a guy like Layman is a very hard-working writer. Like he brings a lot of himself to it. So every script I ever got from him on Shoe, or really period on anything, he has worked on it, and it feels substantial. But at the same time, like he does leave a lot of it in my hand, to where I can decide I'll tweak this, I'll merge these panels and that sort of thing. I just like knowing that it's a partnership, like obviously as the artist is going to spend a lot more time with it than the writer.
Right.
But at the same time, it's a marriage. Let's like both try.
Yeah.
Right. I like it I like full script because it's the whole document is there.
Mm-hmm.
and you know the beginning, middle, and end. You know where all the stuff is, and then you can. Then, as part of the collaboration, the artist can have some input and say, "Well, I do think this is better this way." But at least you're starting. At least you have a document where you can start from.
Right. So yeah, my documents, it's full scripts, panel breakdowns. I like pacing things out. If I'm going to write dialogue, especially comedy, a lot of it is timing. So I have to get the beats right.
Right.
So, and some of it was just I wanted to be a really good writer. So I wanted to master that. And all the farmhand stuff, I wrote full script, even though it was for me. So I wanted to practice that for when I worked with another writer or another artist. So yeah, full scripts, it's all the way.
So even when you knew that you were going to be drawing your own stories, you wrote all the scripts out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, I hated it.
I was going to say, I don't think that's super common.
You're cussing the guy out.
You get it nailed down. I think you're right about the comedy thing, though. You have to get it so you have to pace it and structure it so that the joke lands where you want it to.
Exactly. But I mean, whenever I write, when I'm writing for myself, it's completely different hats. I mean, I go away and I usually write with Farmhand. I was writing in the entire arc. I'd go away for a month and a half and write all 5 issues, and then I'd go start drawing them. And it was completely different hats. And there were times where I'd pick up the script, and it had been a while since I'd written it, so I'd read it.
You'd cuss the writer.
Yeah, I would be pissed at myself. I'd be like,
"Why you wrote this crap? I can't draw these 20 panels on this one page. What are you doing?"
Right. Like, why are there so many horses on this? This makes no sense.
Why does everybody wear a hat?
Right. So I'd have to go back and I'd have to just work it out and say, like, this writer clearly has a bad idea of how things work. I have to fix this entire thing. So I would go back and edit myself in real time.
Did you send yourself a text saying, "Rob, you really need to change this"? Send.
No more horses.
Not that separate. That's a separate personality.
Oh, that's great.
I think we talked several weeks ago. Many comic book artists hate drawing horses.
Yeah.
Not all. Many do.
I think for because the thing is, you have to keep that monthly schedule. So drawing horses, motorcycles, cars, and guys with hats are the 4 things.
Yeah, they're the worst. I hate them all. Chairs. I don't like chairs either.
Oh yeah,
really?
Chairs. We'll just draw them chest up, and you don't have to worry about it.
That's right. Because I think Liefeld's got the right response. He doesn't like feet. They're done.
Just don't draw them.
Yeah.
Just smoke.
Leave
There's
it
a
out.
smoke. It's smoke under the feet.
Yeah, smoke. Put them under the heel. They're saying
put it behind everybody.
just below a ridge.
Behind something.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions y'all have for Rob before he gets out of here? Rob, anything we didn't ask you that you're like, why didn't you guys ask me this?
No. You guys had some really great questions. I appreciate it.
We'd like when you get when you actually get a book out that can be ordered, we'd love to have you back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, May 6th, Innards comes out from Ignition. It'll be monthly for 5 issues. I'll be blowing that up on socials, kind of spreading the word on that. And like I said, next month we'll actually be announcing what John and I are working on.
Good.
So,
okay.
Yeah, and that's actually going to be. I can't say what it's going to be.
Okay.
Okay.
There's something going to be happening very, very soon in the next month.
Well,
And
keep
you
us
guys
posted.
Maybe
You
we
can
get
know
you,
about it.
maybe we'll get you both on. Talk about it.
That'd be great.
Once you've announced it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, this has been great, Rob. It's been great to meet you and great to talk to you.
Absolutely.
I've got one thing for him.
Okay.
So, Roland, pull this link up that I sent you over in the chat.
Which one? You sent me.
Well,
3?
they're both the same. The second one.
Okay. Oh, you want me to share it now? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Hang on. Give me just a second, Dan.
Look, I did some research.
Are you feeling okay?
Me? There he comes. Ta-da! Was that your comic?
That's not the one, but
Ah!
it is the same series, though. You have to look for the fire guy. The Scorcher was his name. He'll definitely pop up.
That's funny.
Oh, so
Oh,
good.
there it is. Yep.
There it is.
That's
Right here?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the sweepstakes edition.
Even better.
Yep, that was it.
That was one of those was a Marvel book that had a
Yeah, this one says Archie. The other one
Yeah.
said Marvel.
a
Yeah.
bunch of people did it. Even Marvel had a version
That's
of the
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
classic, man. I actually have to find one of those copies for myself.
Kids,
and frame
kids
it or
love
something.
fire.
Absolutely.
fire.
Not just kids.
No.
All right,
That was
kids.
my question. There you go. I'm done.
On Tuesday, that Silverline show on Tuesday, I'm going to talk about the must-buy art books for comic artists. A panel of comic creators discuss the art books you need to buy to teach it yourself to draw comics. That's Tuesday. On Wednesday, the Whammers are going to talk about the most extreme, awesome, and exaggerated decade in comics goes under the microscope, and the Whammers must test their might against an onslaught of 90s trivia. Categories include comics, characters, companies, and industry in general. That is next Wednesday. And this coming Sunday, Mr. Mason is going to guest host. As we
Finally.
I will be
Wedding stuff
at
going
my
on.
daughter's wedding. So
Oh yeah.
next Sunday, we're going to have a special guest with us, Dan Scotty, who will be here talking about Lavender Jack. So
Yeah.
you guys probably know him from Flash Gordon, but we're going to get him talking all about Lavender Jack. Rob, hang out for a minute with us if you can. After the thing, we'll chat just a little bit. But until next time, you guys remember to make mine
mine
Silverline. Good night, everyone.
Hey, this is Paul Pelletier. Make mine Silverline. Is that okay, Roland?